Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator and we are going to be taking the Inibuilds A350-900 from Denver International Airport to Detroit Metro Wayne. I've already got my flight plan configured in Navigraph. This is going to be my second flight in the Inibuilds A350-900. So let's jump into the aircraft and get things configured for our flight. All right, we are in the flight deck of the A350-900. Going to pull up the preliminary cockpit preparation checklist. So we want to make sure that our engine master switches are in the off position, which they are. Parking brake is on. Speed brake lever is retracted, flaps are retracted, weather radar is off, engine mode selector is normal, thrust levers are at idle, gear lever is down. We'll go upstairs. We want to make sure that our left and right wipers are off. All right, we can go ahead and power up the aircraft. So we'll do battery 1, battery emergency 1, battery emergency 2, battery 2. We have external power available, so we'll connect external 2 and external 1. Adjust our cockpit lighting. Go downstairs. Turn up the floodlights. And our dome light. All right, let's go down to our EFB here. We're going to go to flight operations status, sim brief import. So we have the A350-900, Delta 1549 from Denver to Detroit. Go to our load sheet, import. We'll set our zero fuel weight. And set our fuel. All right, our nav database is active from February 20th through March 19th. That's good. We'll go back upstairs. All right, we want to make sure our crew oxygen supply is on. Our ground recorder is turned on. EVAC should be set to captain. Our ADIRs can go to nav 1, 2, and 3. Strobe light should be in the auto position. Beacon light is off. Nav lights are on. We'll go ahead and turn on the logo lights, the wing lights. We'll turn on the no seatbelts or seatbelt signs. No smoking. No mobile devices in auto, and arm the emergency exit lights. Go ahead and start the APU. Master switch on, wait about 3 seconds, and hit start. We can monitor our APU status right here. So once the end percentage gets close to 100, it will become available. APU gen available. Go back upstairs. Go ahead and turn on our APU bleed. Cross bleed should be set to auto. Airflow is normal. We'll adjust the cockpit temperature. Cabin temperature should be set to per select. Alright, we can go ahead and turn our fuel pumps on. Cargo air conditioning will adjust. And we're basically looking for no white lights. Alright. We want to make sure that our air data switch is in the auto position. FMS switch is normal. Our IRS should align in 1 minute. Let's see what our QNH is. Denver. Alright, the altimeter is 2990. Set for the captain and first officer, and our standby 2990. All right, our IRS has aligned. We are in nav mode. Alright, our landing gear lever is down. Anti-skid switch should be on. Go downstairs. We would set our radio frequencies if I was using that. I'm not going to be using ATC today. Spoilers are retracted. Parking brake is on. Thrust levers are at idle. Thrust reversers are stowed. Engine masters are off. Engine start normal. And our flaps are retracted. Alright, we'll go down and program our FMS. Alright, so our flight number is Delta 1549. We're going from Denver to Detroit. We're not using a company route. Cruise flight level today is 410. Cost index is 48. Trip winds. Average wind component plus 27. We're going to have a 27 knot tailwind. Alright, let's see what our cruise temperature is. Just after top of climb, minus 49 degrees Celsius. Copy wind request. Insert the winds. Alright, our IRS is aligned. Go to our departure. Alright, so we're going to depart runway 08 on the Eons S. Runway 08, Eons, okay. All right, from Wyndham, we're gonna go direct to OBH. Then we're gonna go direct to Bay. OBH to Bay, direct to Porzel, which is the transition for the Recti 2 arrival. Go ahead and insert that. Detroit. ILS runway 22 left. ILS 22 left, star. All right, transition is Spurner. Porzel. Approach via spur. There we go. All right, let's just confirm our flight plan. So we'll go to plan, 20 nautical miles. We're just going to step through our flight plan and look for any discontinuities or backtracks. All right, from Bay to Porzel, we have a discontinuity. We're just going to fly direct. So we'll go ahead and select this one. Bay to Porzel. And when it gets a valley, we'll fly direct to Spur. There's a discontinuity here because it's expecting a vector. That all looks pretty good. All right, we got our light set. Barometric reference is set. We'll double check that. $2990. ND mode, we'll go to arc. We'll just do 20 nautical miles for now. Weather radar is off. We'll go ahead and turn our constraints on, airports. Flight directors are on. All right, let's see what our top altitude is. So initial climb, runway 08. So we want to cross Royal at or below 10,000 feet. So that will be top altitude. (10,000 feet). Test our oxygen mask. Oxygen's flowing to the mask. Check our doors page. Doors are closed. Takeoff briefing has been performed. All right, we can go ahead and disconnect external power. Go ahead. Turn that off. Disconnect. We'll remove the chocks. Go ahead and turn on our beacon light. We're going to get ready for pushback here. All right, thrust levers are at idle. Parking brakes on, chocks removed. Check our surveillance page. So we want to go ahead and turn our transponder on. I'll just put in a squawk code of 1365. We want that in auto. Altitude reporting is on. TCAS set to normal. TCAS will set to TARA. So transponders in auto and TCAS is TARA. All right, let's see where we're at here. So we need to get to runway 08. Call the tug. All right, release the parking brake. Alright. Set the parking brake and release the tug. Alright, we're ready for engine 1 start, so what we're going to do is turn the switch to ignition start, engine number 1 on. Alright, engine 1 is available. We'll start engine 2. Alright, engine's available. Alright, we'll go downstairs. Engine start selector should be set to normal. We'll go upstairs, turn off the APU bleed, turn off the APU. Nose light can go to taxi, runway turn-off lights. Alright, ground spoilers can be armed. We'll set flaps 1 for takeoff. Rudder trim, we'll give it a reset. Trim is good. Takeoff flaps are set. Check our flight controls. Full left. Full right, neutral, nose down, nose up, neutral, full left rudder, full right rudder, neutral. Auto brakes are on. Do our takeoff config check. Seat belts are on, no smoking signs are on. No white lights. All right, I think we're ready. All right. Runway 08 is just straight ahead of us. Alright, we'll hold short of runway 08. Parking brake is set. So we need to go upstairs. Turn our landing lights on. Nose light to takeoff. Strobe lights on. Do our takeoff config. Flaps are set. Oh wow, I forgot to do this. Fuel and load. So our zero fuel weight is set. CG set. Taxi fuel 1.3 pounds. Alright, alternate fuel 5.4. Final reserve 7.6. Passenger number 321. Cost index is 48. All right, so that's all set. Alternate should be 5.4. All right. Take our performance. All right, so we're departing Denver, runway 08. We're gonna sync the weather. Runway conditions dry, anti-ice off, flaps 1 plus F, air conditioning on, thrust flex, compute. So we're looking at a V1 of 140, rotate 142, V2 147. Flex is 67. We'll send the data to the FMS. Confirm. Thrust reduction and acceleration altitude is 1,500 feet AGL. Same for engine out acceleration. Transition altitude is always 18,000 feet. Not sure how I missed that step. That's why we always do our takeoff config test. Alright, takeoff config is normal now. Alright. And our, let's see, minimum takeoff fuel, 42,042. We're at 42,400, so we're good. Alright, let's get out of here. Altimeter is 2990. Alright, we're lined up on the runway. So what we're going to do is advance the throttle to about 25% thrust. N2 is about 42%. We're stable. Flex. Alright. Positive ready to climb. Gear coming up. Go to nav. Lever climb. There's our S speed, so flaps coming up. We can disarm the ground spoilers. Alright, so we need to cross Royal at or below 10,000 feet. Alright, there's 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and cross Shobo at 12,000. We're above 10,000 feet, so we can go ahead and turn the landing lights off. Nose light off. Seatbelt signs can come off now. Once we cross Shobo, we should be clear to climb. We'll go up to flight level 230. Alright, let's climb up to flight level 230. We'll increase our speed to 320 knots. Pretty nice climb out so far. At flight level 180, we need to transition to standard. Alright, there's flight level 180. We'll go standard. Standard. Seatbelt signs can stay off. This is a long departure. All right, let's check some of these altitudes on our arrival here. So at Tinder, we want to be between flight level 210 and 230 at 280 knots. We'll just say, we'll pick the bottom one. How about 210 at Tinder? Tinder 210, 280. Okay. At Freely 16 and 19 at 280. We'll say 180. So 210 at Tinder, 280. Okay, Freely 16 and 19 at 280. Shims 12. Above 12. Rickety between 11 and 13 at 260. Let's go down to 11. Dreamy 10,000, 230. Malia, we need to be at 6,000 feet, 210. All right, this flight level 230. Let's go ahead and climb up to 410 now. We'll maintain 320 knots. All right, so at Macomb, we want to be at 8,000. Dirtburn, 7,000. Behold, 6,000. Lupe, 5,000. Oscar, 4,000. Rogue, 3,000. And then Hookah 2000, that's where we're going to intercept the glide slope. Alright, looks like all of our constraints are in there. There's a discontinuity here, we're going to just fly direct. It's expecting a vector from ATC. Looks like our top of descent is just after Chef. I got a ways to go. So we'll maintain 320 knots through our climb until we reach Mach 0.85. We're looking pretty good on fuel. When we cross Windham, we should have at least 33,700 pounds of fuel. We're currently at 35,300. Pretty strong wind up here. Wind's 328 at 101 knots. It's blowing from our left to right. All right, we'll switch to Mach 0.85 now. Alright, we just crossed flight level 320. We're climbing to flight level 410, which is our cruise altitude, Mach 0.85. I think I'm just going to let the autopilot continue with this climb. Looks like we are about 70 nautical miles away from our top of climb. So I'll just let the autopilot do its work, and I'll go into time lapse here. Looks like our top of descent is just after Chef. So I'll come back just before our top of descent and we'll get things configured for our arrival. So until then, just enjoy this time lapse and I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
This is not a phase, my dear. Time heals the moment, but our hearts were frozen, don't disappear. You escaped from not knowing, but I got a feeling that I'll be right here for the rest of my life. Just know that I'll give you love you'll never want to share tonight. Tonight. But if the world isn't working the way that we found it when we were too young to love, our attention is running, 5 seconds is burning a hole in our racing hearts. I wish we could find the space, a great escape, where we could finally break the mold. If it's us that we want and we're happy after the fall, and I don't wanna change it all. 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 Life be till the end. Tell me stories that I've heard 1,001 times before. I bet. Let me fall into your eyes all over again. I'll be right here for the rest of my life. Just know that I'll give you love you'll never want to share tonight. Tonight. But if the world isn't working the way that we found it when we were too young to love, our attention is running, 5 seconds is burning a hole in our racing hearts. I wish we could find the space, a great escape, where we could finally break the mold. If it's us that we want and we're happy after the fall, and I don't wanna change it all. And I don't wanna change it all. And I don't wanna change it all. No, 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 no.
Alright, welcome back. We are about 15 nautical miles away from our top of descent. So what I need to do is look at the arrival procedure, and I want to set the lowest altitude in the arrival. So it looks like valley, we need to be at 6,000 feet. So we'll set 6,000 feet in the altitude window. 6,000 feet set. We'll maintain Mach 0.85 during our initial descent, and then we'll reduce our speed to 300 knots. Alright, we can go ahead and start our descent. So we need to cross Tinder at 280 knots between flight level 210 and 230. We'll go ahead and slow her down to Mach 0.80. Throw some speed brake out. Go vertical speed mode. So I'm in vertical speed mode, descending at 3,900 feet per minute. I'm trying to cross Tinder at flight level 230. Gonna be pretty close. And we need to be at 280 knots, I believe. At 280. So I'm going to set 280 knots. I like to manually manage the descent. So we're slowing down to 280 knots. Should be on track to cross Tinder at flight level 220. Alright, let's go ahead and plug in our destination weather. So winds 250 at 16 knots. Temperature is 12 degrees Celsius. Our QNH is 2940. All right. Still on track. Okay. Let's see here. Minimums. ILS 200 feet. full config. Looks like our approach speed is 138 knots. Transition altitude is always flight level 180 in the United States. All right, let's go ahead and target 160 or 170. We'll adjust our vertical speed. There we go. Maintain 280 knots. Speed brake's still out. Go ahead and turn our anti-ice on. Get those seatbelt signs on. All right, so we're going to cross freely at 280 knots between flight levels 16,000 and 190. Double check our altimeter, 2940. Get that set, 2940. Okay. So maintaining 280 knots, 17,000 feet. All right, let's get down to 12,000. Vertical speed mode. About 1,500 feet per minute. Yeah, I like managing the descent. It's a little more hands-on. So we need to think about slowing down here soon, because we need to cross recti at 260 knots. Throw a little bit of speed brake out. We are right on track. I like having the bottom of descent marker right on the ND. It helps you kind of estimate where your target altitude is. Alright, let me go ahead and slow down to 260 knots. Alright, we're at 260 knots. Alright, let's go ahead and target 8,000 feet. Feet per minute. About 10 nautical miles out, I'll start reducing my speed to 230 knots. Alright, set 230. Alright, we're below 10,000 feet, so we need to go upstairs, turn our landing lights on, nose light to takeoff. Seatbelt signs are on. little foggy out there. All right, so we're approaching 8,000 feet, 230 knots. All right, then we need to get down to 6,000 feet and 210 knots, mandatory. All right, 6,000 feet coming up. Vertical speed mode. About 700 feet per minute. Now we'll do 800 feet per minute. All right, we need to reduce our speed to 210 knots. We can go flaps 1 plus F at about 180 knots. So when we start making our right-hand turn here, I'll probably go flaps 1. Under 10 knots. All right, 210 knots, 6,000 feet. Make a left-hand turn here. We'll maintain 210 knots. Alright, we're just going to maintain 6,000 feet here for a little while. All right. So we're still at 6,000 feet, 210 knots. Yeah, we're just burning a ton of fuel flying level here. The approach is a little goofed up. If you're looking at this arrival at Valley, we're supposed to be at 6,000 feet. But then you go to Spur, and it's suggesting 8,000 feet. So we obviously wouldn't climb. So that's why the fuel figures are a little off. All right. We'll go down to 5,000. Alright, we're pretty much on track here. So 3,000 feet. About 15 nautical miles away. Let me reduce the speed to 180 knots. We'll go flaps 1. And we can go gear down. 10 nautical miles out. I'll reduce the speed to 170 knots. Then we can go flaps 2.
$2,500.
Let's go ahead and activate the landing system. Just below the glide slope. Activate approach. Alright, we're looking for 132 knots. Go flaps full. Alright, we've acquired the glide slope localizer. We're at 132 knots. See what our miss approach is. Climb to 4,000. Alright, signs are on, cabin's ready, landing gear's down, flaps is landing, ground spoilers are armed. Little low on fuel, but that's okay. Wasted some fuel in Denver when I was plugging in the performance data just before we taxied onto the runway. And then flying level at 6,000 feet for all that time kind of burned off a bunch of fuel. But we're still going to be above our final reserve, which is good.
$1,000.
Wind is pretty much straight down the runway.
$500. $400. 100 above. 200. 100. 50. 40.
Right slope.
30. 20. 10. 5.
All right, reverse is out. All right. All right, manual braking. I'm not sure how to clear this alarm. I don't know why it does this. Autopilot's disconnected. All right, we'll go ahead and exit left here. You completely clear the active runway. All right, stop right about here. We'll go flaps up. All right. Disarm the ground spoilers. Go upstairs. We'll get the APU started. Strobe lights can go to auto. Landing lights can come off. Nose light to taxi. All right. Silence. All right. We'll go ahead and set our parking brake. Go upstairs. APU bleed can come on. Go downstairs. Turn off our engine master switches. So we'll go ahead and turn the TCAS off. Transponder standby. The taxi light can come off. Beacon light can come off. Seatbelt signs can come off. All right, we are in a turnaround state here in Detroit. That was a pretty good flight overall. The approach got a little messed up, but I think that's just an error on Navigraph's part. We were maintaining 6,000 feet for quite some time, so we burned off a ton of fuel, which kind of got us below our minimum estimated fuel on board. But overall, it's a pretty good flight. Really enjoyed this Inibuilds A350-900. I'm so glad that it's available for both FS 2020 and FS 2024. If you guys have any suggestions for future flights, please leave a comment. I'd love to fly to some new airports and try different things. So until the next one, we'll catch you later.